vibing.
We are vibing and we are hanging and we are here. I am removing the chat.
Already talking Christmas ghosts and shenanigans.
100%. Fires, self-made fires.
Yes.
One of our specialties, the actor special.
I'll show me.
Yeah, exactly. Go to zippyme.url. If you guys don't know, at Lisa Bell, 2 eyes in there. Lisa is a super talented voiceover producer, coach, actor. I mean, long history in the arts, in relationship with the arts, which her and I were discussing. But Lisa, I mean, how'd you get into D&D?
Early freshman year of high school at the National Academy of Arts. A lot of ballerinas around the. We lived in a hotel. The dorm was a hotel called the Inman in Champaign, Illinois, and National Academy of Arts, and the 6th floor was the teachers' like boardroom, and a bunch of ballerinas and guys. Thank you, Jeff Rogers, for being our DM, our fearless DM, and I still have that pewter mini from way back in the day when minis were like this big, like you could get them at like Hallmark and different places. I still have my little elf wizard.
That is so good. So you were an elf wizard. Was this 3rd edition?
AD&D, I think.
AD&D, let's go. Yeah. Which like, my relationship with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, which like I always also consider like 2nd edition, more or less, right? Is my neighbors had it. And I grew up in Houston, Texas, and my parents were
Houston.
Yeah, exactly. You know it. We got a couple problems. But man, my parents, God bless them, were extremely conservative people. They have since loosened up and are watching shows like This Is Us. So they've really blown it wide open.
I love it.
Yeah, it is a good show. But they basically were like, you can't play Dungeons and Dragons because of the demonic overlap. And I more or less was like, okay, word. But my neighbor's house made a character. And so I never got to play it, but I remember like I felt
made it more fun, right? Contraband.
Exactly. I'm like, they were like, well, how was Ben's? I'm like, it was good. We played Sega. I'm out.
Yeah.
That's so good. You started early though, and with a bunch of ballerinas. I mean,
bunch of theater kids, right? So big imagination.
So
yeah.
So good. Okay, yeah. So your first game was clearly like way over the top. People are flying off the handle. Like this
lots of Doritos, lots of peanut M&Ms. Oh yeah.
Got you.
It was a big all day Sundays, all day, all night Sundays, and then we were exhausted Monday morning in class. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. And this was high school. Okay, so
freshman year of high school.
Just for a reference point, because I do always end up transferring these onto YouTube for antiquity and for the 14 people that are interested. But it is, for me, always really, really interesting how an actor, artist, anyone, came to be sort of like in LA, like in the hunt, in the pursuit of their craft. Like, I know you told me offline, but could you kind of walk us through like your history with it, your family history, just with performance and acting?
It's definitely I followed the family footsteps and then branched out. My mother was in New York City Ballet early back in the day. Jacques d'Amboise was her ballet partner. Crazy. And then followed in my sister's footsteps at the National Academy of Arts, and then she went to Broadway and studied with, was a member of the American Dance Machine. So I followed in her footsteps and I went to the National Academy of Arts, which was the American wing of the Royal Ballet School of London. And then, but I also was watching, going up to New York and watching my sister at the American Dance Machine. And then she was on Broadway in West Side Story in 1980. So at like 13, at 11, I was in company class at the American Dance Machine and summer classes, and then an apprentice, and my first national tour at 15 was West Side Story, and I was mini and understudied anybody's, and
wow,
yeah, really following in the family tree, just West Side Story, West Side, yeah, yeah.
That's crazy. So you were touring basically on this thing at 15, and did you love it? I mean, were you like, this is my life, this is it? Or
I breathed and lived Broadway when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It was everything I wanted to do. Again, I was at class, and Joffrey Ballet at 9. I got into SAB and a knee injury took me out. And then Alvin Ailey at 11 as well. Alvin Ailey really early, Alvin Ailey School and American Dance Machine School and classes. And then it got my first national tour and was off on the road and came back. Like, that was like the 3 months before the end of my junior year of high school. And no one knew how old I was. They just knew how well I knew the show. They knew how well, they thought I was the dance captain on the first day of rehearsal. It was like, no, American Dance Machine. I already did the choreography. Yeah, so
that's crazy to walk into a show knowing the choreo. Like, that's hilarious.
People came to me with questions. It was wild. And no one knew how old I was until I signed my life insurance for a lead role. Lisa Lee, get in here. How old are you? Like, I'm 15. What's the big, why? What? Well, I didn't dawn on me that I was a minor. I just knew that I got a job and I was going on tour, which I wanted to do. I got the thing I wanted to do. But luckily, my father is a corporate attorney, and I got emancipated in 2 days.
Wow.
And so I could go on tour without the chaperone and the teacher and the blah, blah, blah. And I was just...
a sequence of events. So your family has dance in their blood. Yeah. And if you guys don't know, American Dance Machine is like, kind of like the AAU on the basketball equivalent. Like, it is the creme de la creme of more or less like collegiate and below like dance teams. They do competitions all over the nation.
It's a living archive of Broadway show-stopping numbers. It's a living dance archive of Broadway theater dance. So,
but they do tour it,
that's
right?
Right, Oklahoma. They did tour. My sister toured with them. She was on Broadway with them. The poster's right there, actually, but you can't see it.
Gotcha.
And she toured Japan with them. Yeah.
Dang, that'd be so fun. And so then you basically, like, you book work, you're ready to go. They're doing another run. You have a lead role, and you run into some legal snares. And instead of, being, I guess I'm just like, through my mind, I'm like, I feel like my dad would immediately, I am so sorry. Lisa, can you please just give me 2 seconds? My mom has called me 3 times in a row, and I'm just going to get this real quick. Yes.
Get it. While he talks to his mother, I'm gonna tell you the story of, now West Side Story was I've done 2 national tours of West Side Story. The first tour was with Rex Smith and Catherine Buffalo, Leilani Jones. It was very, very fun. We opened at the Kennedy Center in DC. So it was kind of like starting at the top. It wasn't just, we're going to go open it at some theaters outside of town. It was 1000%. You're going on your first national tour. You're now a legal adult, and you're opening at the Kennedy Center. And Martha Swope is taking photographs. That's how my Broadway career started. I mean, yeah.
And thank you so much.
Lots of other crazy stories, but
thank you for vamping like a pro, and also with such a juicy tidbit. My mom wanted to know my wife's birthday, because apparently we're putting together a calendar of the family.
Did you remember?
Of course.
Okay, I'm just checking.
But it just cracked me up, because I was like, Mom, like, you scared me. You called me 3 times in 15 minutes, like.
Mom.
That's international warning sign. That's international broken hip.
Yes.
Something's happened.
That's trouble. Third call, that's trouble. Yeah.
1000%. Third call is when you're like, there have been no voicemail, there have been no texts.
Right.
Anyway, thank you so much, Lisa.
Would have been a text.
You're a legend. You understand. Okay, so you're rolling and you get emancipated. And did you even, like, I say even as if you need it, but like, did you even go to college? Were you just working all through that time frame? Amazing. Like,
no, God. I got 4 Broadway shows on my 19th birthday, 19th or 20th, I think it was 19th birthday. And it was 19th birthday, and they all fell through before they happened. I made a lot of money. I'm telling this story. I made a lot of money on shows like Cats and Starlight Express and another show, and I never did the show. once they call you back for a 5th time for our lead role on a Broadway show, they have to pay you like it's a rehearsal.
Oh my
and for
God.
Cats,
Right.
there was an agent called Vinny Liff. He was a horrible.
Do we like him or hate him? Fucking Vinny.
Awful.
God damn it, Vinny.
Petty casting director who would never ever hire me. And I had it was up to my 15th callback for Cats.
Are you fucking insane, Vinny? What do you think? What do you think I live?
To more than just me.
That's crazy.
But
15's insane.
It was soul crushing. It was soul crushing. I made a lot of money and I never did the show. So cat school twice, skate school twice for Starlight. Really fun. Walkovers and skating and crazy fun. I was always down to another girl and me, and the other girl always got it if Vinny Liff had the say. And Vinny Liff always had the say.
What was his beef? Was he like, I mean, did you guys have a moment? He just didn't.
Never.
You know what I mean?
We never had a moment. But the last time I auditioned for him, before I was so too crushed to keep going on that 15th callback. We were at the Winter Garden Theater on the stage. It was, 10 girls are lined up. You walk up onto the stage and you sing your 16 or 32 bars. And I remember the theater's pretty dark, and there's that chorus line. There's that little pin light over the desk in the seats.
Yeah.
And I get up there and I start singing, and I can see his hands on the desk in the light, and he does one of these. He goes,
no.
Everyone, I saw it. I clocked it because I was watching, and I just stopped singing. And so he had to look up and go, keep going. I said, do you want me to keep going? Would you like me to keep singing? I nailed him. Oh yeah, yes, yeah, please. And then I finished my bars, but I wasn't about to let that final straw go unsaid with something. Other people have better stories about him doing that while they're singing as well, and then I moved out to LA.
Yeah.
And I immediately got sucked. I went to college. I went to Hunter College in New York City. Became a bartender of the year. Hunter College was amazing. Lit major, just amazing. And then out here, Santa Monica College, lit. I'm a word nerd.
Heck yeah.
So
Santa Monica College is so beautiful. And guys, listen, I know that I have not asked I did ask one D&D question, and we will.
We're going to get there.
We will. But it's the first time I'm getting to kick it with Lisa. And I don't know. There's so much of this is like comparable, like different versions of, like paths and struggles. And so I easily relate. But Santa Monica College, one, beautiful campus, I think. Underrated. Like in terms of there's like the Santa Monica College pool and the Santa Monica College track.
Oh, not when I was there. When I was there, it was a little.
Was it?
USC, beautiful campus. Santa Monica College. When I was there, but some really nice teachers, and Hunter as well. Man, I loved Hunter College. Holy moly!
That is sick.
Also, the best falafel cart in the city was outside Hunter College.
In Hunter?
New York City.
Yeah, New York. Okay.
68th and I forget. Lex? I don't know.
So good. I love how the falafel carts, like once they leave, like Morocco and Paris, they flock to New York. That's I'm a sucker for that. Well, so you came out here, and like, has it mostly been in LA since? I mean, like, are you like, is it home now? And you know what I mean?
It is. I've been in LA longer than I've lived on the East Coast where I grew up, which is kind of wild. I'm a true transplant now. I had a sidetrack, like sliding doors moment to Nashville and back.
For the business or for love?
I moved here. I got spotted and scouted at a club. I did a music video. Love at first sight. Back and forth across the country. I moved into Nashville. I realized this was a mistake, and I moved out. It just wasn't ever going to work. He needed to go be his lead singer, rock and roll country dude self, and then I moved back to LA, and then got into film and TV and Beverly Hills Playhouse and text-based muds.
Yes.
Now we're tying it in. Text-based muds, my friend, and then World of Warcraft and more D&D.
Let's fucking
like
go.
Table warping. Okay. Yeah. So I
table warping.
Yeah, the D&D I played when I got back here was all night long in boardrooms in Pasadena at a furniture, like corporate furniture store. So we had the room in these big boardrooms. My boyfriend worked at this company, but the DMs, these people they did not like women, and I was kind of the only woman there a lot. And I remember, you're gonna love this. I remember seeing this big file folder that the DM was very proud of, and a big label on it said
accordion, like it just opened,
like file folders, like big,
got it.
Big file folders, and it said KIA, and I was like, who's Kia? Who's Kia? Who's this girl? She has all these characters. No, it was all the characters he'd killed in action.
Yeah.
I didn't. Who's Kia?
It's like, that's the ghost. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh yeah. Tommy's Burgers and junk food all night, playing in Pasadena.
That's the life.
That guy got me into Dragon Realms, text-based MUDs.
That's insane.
I met those producers. I started collaborating with those producers and writing for the game, being in-game host, being a mentor, being an assistant, a writer, all the writing things, all the ghost writing things, collaboration behind the scenes and writing quests, and then World of Warcraft, and then we all alpha and beta World of Warcraft. I've seen some really funny, crazy stuff, alpha and beta testing, from like Burning Crusade through Pandaria.
Damn.
We got to test some. I am the breaker of things.
Yeah, so like, break that down for me. What would that look like? Would they be like, come into our space, we have some consoles with the beta versions, or were they
just we would,
they were like,
online group up and go run through some of this stuff. I remember when we got garrisons outside the garrison, like headquarters, there was a lava pool just to have a landmark and a thing, and things aren't done, so there's like a hat made of checkerboards and different things. And I remember swimming around in circles in the lava was a mock-up of Hulk Hogan and somebody else, just because they could, because we were all just testing what was working, what wasn't working. I broke the hunters really early for Worgen. I broke the hunter class really early.
That is.
Send us a screen cap. No, she really did. How did you do that? I'm like, I break things.
That is absolutely hysterical. Like, that's what you need though from a game dev and from like a game tester. And by the way, Molly the Rock, thank you so much for rolling through. I assume you are a Lisa fan. That's a bugle.
Molly!
Appreciate you so much running through. I think my stream elements is timed out because I'm not.
Mute. There we go.
Wait, hold. But appreciate that support, Molly.
I muted it.
Is Molly a collaborator? Do they play with you? More just
Molly's amazing. Molly is a voice actor and a singer, and she's an AMDA.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Did I say it right, Molly? Actor. She's amazing.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming through, Molly. I'm Carpe, the DM. I run a lot of D&D content. I myself am a voice actor as well, improviser, human here in Los Angeles. That's hilarious. I love that you dove into MUDs, because that for me is some real raw stuff. Like, I mess with MUDs. Did it...
Coding verbs with them, all that stuff.
Yeah, was it just because like you have such a good like literary mind and creative vibe? Were you like punching up descriptions and whatnot?
Oh yeah. I love it because it's like you're literally inside a good book, right?
Yeah.
And then I went to the convention in Vegas, and I met the producers, and we just became really great. I love collaborating and writing, so I call it brain tennis. I love spitting ideas back and forth and making a story, making things. And then it just became this really, they gave me subscriptions basically instead of pay, and lots of stuff. We just wrote things, ambient messaging for areas, items in the game, houses came in when that was happening. So my favorite in-game idea, I made a Magic 8 moose for the wall inside your house, where it was a moose you put on the wall and have different verb message like tickle, tap, did all these different things, and then you'd pull and you'd pull its ear or its tongue and it would spit out a fortune for you. So it was a Magic 8 moose.
That's hilarious.
It had ambient messaging, it had stuff, and then never-ending tart pouches, little pouches that you could turn the crank once a day and you'd get
this is
cupcake
like this is like the DM stuff that I adore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, whenever I'm a player, and like, I guess whenever I'm a DM, but more whenever I'm a player, like, I'm trying to walk into the tavern with the talking moose head. Like, I want my DM to get that. Like, have you found that kind of, that sort of wackiness permeates a lot of your games?
Wackiness.
Yeah, and I don't mean it like, that sounded negative. I didn't mean it like, oh
No, not
trivial,
wacky.
you know?
I mean, wacky can be great. I just don't tend to Alice in Wonderland and not, that kind of nonsensical mind journey in my games. But I like it to be immersive more than wacky. I love giving people the scent of rain and the soft patter of raindrops on the shake roof that you're in, the cottage you're in, and the soft crackle of the fireplace, and it's kind of muted because of the rain or the snow outside, and it's just quiet, and then something happens. I like immersing people in everything they're feeling. That's everything cool. That's in where they are. Yeah, I like that snapshot of full environment that you're in. But it can get wacky. I did a 10-person game of
no way, that's a lot.
Module I've written that but it's really, numbers don't bother me. It's I rely on my players to help me know the rules, because I don't know them all, right? So, and you don't need to know them all. If you've got players at the table that know their characters well, well, where I've been a DM before, I am all for, like, give me the thing. If I'm not remembering
help me.
A thing, absolutely help me. We're helping each other as I tell the story. And just real quick, Lisa,
like, I'm that way too, and this is just 2 cents, but I feel like that's the actor in you. Like, because you're sort of like, you've been in so many plays, you've been a ensemble member, you've been part of a 12-person choreography number, right? Where, like, hell yeah, your steps are important, but, like, it's the sum of the whole. And a really good D&D table for me is, like, clicking in that same way.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And how small details can make the whole thing come alive. Right? Like when animation came in to World of Warcraft, my favorite thing up in one of the second areas of the Worgen, the big village that ends up going away, upstairs in one of the houses is a little train on a track. Everyone's gone. This toy train is still going on its track, and little smoke is coming up. Or in the undead area in the beginning, now there's animated flies on the kitchen tables and stuff, like on the dinners that are, right? It's those little things that make you go, people were here.
Yes, dude.
Those little details that not just clues, but ambient details.
100%. I could eat a bowl of that too. Like, because you talk about, like, clues, those are important. That's world building. That's immersive. But then there's just texture that, like, exists simply to tell, like, the story of the world, not necessarily the story of the plot. And I'm just curious, because if you're just joining us, I mean, where the fuck you been? First off, like, what's going on? Was there traffic? Was there an outage? We did the delay thing where I started late. Okay, so what's up?
Just for you. Where you been?
No, I'm joking. I love hassling people. But, like, if you're just joining, Lisa, I mean, long history in the arts, in dance and performance, in acting, voiceover coach, and professional, but avid D&D player, both on the DM side and on the player side. But, like, I have found that, well, let me just ask you, because you talk about, playing a mud role player as almost being, like, in a good book. Is that how you endeavor to DM? Is it more like being in a good play? Like, how do you, like, style it, if that makes sense?
In a good book. Definitely in a good book. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. Especially when the writing of those modules and those things, like, take you there. That is so exciting for me, because then I just want to grab it, get my fingers in it, and keep building and keep going. Like Blades in the Dark. I love the book so much that I wrote to John Harper and Sean Nittner, and I was like, you don't know me, but I'm so taken with this book. If I can ever work with you,
that's
sick. I couldn't stop. And I was on a stream of Blades in the Dark, and that wasn't so great. But the book is one of the smartest, savviest, most immersive books for a player's handbook I've ever seen. I mean, there's, you have all the little square text, box text stuff of D&D, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful and it's gorgeous, but the way this is written really pulls you in from other people's POV, and it's just so smart.
And tell me the name again, Lisa.
I wish I thought of it.
I've never heard of it. Tell me the name again.
Blades in the Dark.
Blades in the Dark. Okay,
Blades
I'm
in
just
the
gonna
Dark.
drop that into Yield Google search. Amazing.
Oh my gosh. It's like Victorian England with cataclysmic events and dark magic and ghosts, and there are ghosts and gangs and robbers and heists and it's well kind of Peaky Blinders meets magic and ghosts.
So good.
It's delicious.
So a couple old like tumbly boys from Belfast coming down to scare the ghosts out of people, that kind of thing. That's fucking great. Okay. So that's the vibe whenever you're okay, that's so rad. So
it's so good.
Like, I love also
parts of it are written like a journal. Parts of it, it's not just a handbook of how you play the game.
Whenever you wrote to them, did you email them or did you literally write them a letter?
I emailed them.
Okay.
And then we have become friends since then, and worked on things, and I've gotten to know Sean's wife, and I've helped her
so good.
Improv for Gamers class. So go pick up Improv for Gamers 2nd edition book, and you guys can go play through some really fun improv game, like light, easy improv games to gather your table before you start a session. It's really fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
and I just did. We became friends, and then I had ideas, and I kept saying ideas, and then I was like, "Do you guys have like PR marketing hat? Do you guys have merch? Do you guys have things?" Because you need to have these things. You don't have a shirt. What?
Gotta get a shirt.
So I started mocking up oh my god, because the art is so good. So I mocked up shirts for them, and I don't know what they've done with it, but I just had a blast mocking up shirts. I made 2. Like, this is what they look like on for reels. But yeah, I just there are some things that I just felt so strongly about. I had to go, I need to know you. You are amazing. I love your mind. This writing is gorgeous.
That's cool.
What can I do?
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I have done that occasionally, very rarely, with comedians whenever I've written things that I think they would really, really, really do well in. Like, they could really make funny. And so it's a small sample scale, but every time, even if it was still a no, they got back to me. And it was like really, really incredible to me, in the sense that I was like, damn, most creatives really like understand at minimum how hard it is to like get something from zero to finished. And whenever you take in someone else's art, like you reading Blades in the Dark, it's of course it's like visceral and highly stimulating, because it's a journey that you've gone through in dance, like getting through injury, getting through cuts, getting through 20 callbacks on cats. You know what I'm saying? Like, that to me is always, and it's maybe why like I really responded so much to your content anyways, but there is such it's just hard enough to get to the performance. You know what I mean? Much less for the performance to be good. So whenever you read the book or see the show or hear the podcast and you enjoy it, as an artist, sometimes it like can almost just make me cry. I'm like, you did it. You wrote a book. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
1000%. Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to honor the D&D roots. It's in the category tag.
Let's go.
We talked about, you coming in, it's high school, mostly kind of ballet, like dance theater, right? So the table, I'm sure, was popping off. Was it a while before you DM'd? And kind of addendum question, as soon as you were playing, did you immediately think to yourself, I want to DM, or did that come later?
It's funny that you ask that. because my first answer instinctively would have been, no, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about DMing. Is it the ghost?
You see that guy?
No.
It's a little.
Oh, yeah.
Let me let him. This chocolate boy. Hold up. I take a lot of breaks, Lisa, as you can tell. I'll see you later.
See you, bye.
Oh, I'm joking.
Do I keep going on my story? Do I wait for you to get the pepper?
Sorry about that, boo. You know
That's
he's
right.
the real boss of the household.
Yeah. What did you? Directing and DMing. I was gonna say no. It took me a long time to get up the courage to DM, not because I couldn't tell the story, but because I didn't know the rules, and that was my big hang up. Combat and rules was my big oh no. But even as a kid, now that I'm writing again for RPG companies, I remembered fourth grade wanting to direct kids in a thing.
Oh, wow.
That I kind of put down as oh, you couldn't do that. Oh, you can't do that. But writing these things and leading, I was a quest host leading dozens of players through Dragon Realms on live quest days, kind of being the ringleader for live events and things. So
That's huge.
it's back, and I love it so much, and the more I do it, the more I want to do it well, which is also that perfectionist thing. But as far as telling a story and pulling players in to the world and what they need to do, I never worry about that. But it is the combat, CR rating, all that stuff makes me go, oh no, you couldn't do. But with great players at the table, I feel safe going, all right, check those for me.
Yeah. That's and is it have you found that it's gotten easier with experience? Do you have a handful of prep tools that you lean on for combat? Or I'm just curious how someone, just what your journey's been like in terms of kind of filling in those gaps. Or
there were Discord servers
cool.
I was a part of, and they gave me tons of reference information. And then I and another person made our own Discord server, and I've let it go fallow because I realized I didn't want to run a server to teach people to play D&D. It was too much time. It was exhausting time to run that whole thing.
That's hard. Yeah.
But it's there. It's fallow, but it's there. I wrote the town like Dragon Realms, right?
Yeah.
Basically. And what's that website? Not Kobold.
Kobold
There's
Press?
the website you can plug in.
Kassoon.
No.
Oh, okay.
There's a website you can just plug in creatures and CR and things and find your CRs, and I would just reskin and stuff like that. So
reskinning is the way to go. That's awesome.
Take the monsters from that area, and if you want to make it different, reskin it.
Yeah, that's something that I think is so underdone, especially because
there for you. Why math?
I mean, it's kind of the same thing as just how often an actor will use a prop or a jacket or whatever to just make it work. That to me is cheating in a really, really smart and healthy way, is to sort of be no, dude, you have it, just use what you have. And
those can make gold moments. Those can make golden moments that make it on screen as well, right?
Yeah.
Thomas Crown Affair, where he shows her the pictures where it looks like he's having an affair, and it's in the rehearsal. She couldn't put them back in the. She couldn't put them. She couldn't put them back in the folder, and they left it that way. She couldn't do it, but they left that mistake in. It was such a lovely moment of I'm undone. I've come undone.
That's really cool.
Right. So I love using props like that, and using mistakes as well. Using good trouble, where rolling poorly and being in good trouble can be an unbelievably grand adventure instead of just uh-oh.
Yes, you're right. And that is one so true of improv, definitely very true of D&D, where it's okay, yeah, no, the guards don't believe you, come with me, but it also to me speaks the need to have legitimate stakes, right? Where like you need to have a feeling of, if this goes poorly, this will happen. And, you know, have a reason to have everyone's breath be held when the stealth check is made or whatever. But like, how do you normally treat that? Like, is it like, do people die at your table? Is that something that happens commonly, or?
Not common. That's the fun to me now that I've, as a seasoned player. And once I will say, swerve for a second.
Yeah.
Call of Cthulhu and being on How We Roll really taught me to have fun with trouble and really bad consequences. Have fun. I'm not so precious with players anymore, with my characters anymore, right? I can get in trouble. So teaching players that they can have some fun with trouble is great. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful skill to watch DMs thread that needle of deadly to dying.
Yeah.
That deadly encounter that really raises the stakes, but everyone's going to make it out okay. Right?
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful, beautiful skill to have. I don't mind fudging rolls on that as long as it serves the story and doesn't serve an ego. Serves the story, not the ego of anyone. And with kindness and with you know, highest good for all, but those consequences can be really fun. And then I've died in games where there are stats for being a ghost and coming back. So
let's go.
Let's go.
I love that. You're like, dude, that's why we keep those ghost stats on hand. Like, I'm ready. That's awesome. Is it so? Like, are you playing?
I don't kill players often.
Got you. I have never. Only time a player has died, it's happened twice. They've been brought back.
And it's a trust thing too.
You know,
when players don't understand D&D, and I've seen this happen. I've seen people that we know and love now, their first D&D game and their first D&D character death was traumatic. And the DM that did it did not handle it well. And it was an amazing learning experience and moment for me to go, I'm never going to do that to somebody. I'm never going to behave that way, and just let it roll. And okay, everybody else, and just leave that person hanging. Like, what do I do now? Mm-hmm. And they were really invested in the character, and it's horrible. So deaths have to be handled with incredible compassion and incredible story craft and thought to what's next, and then what happens. You have to know.
That's a good way to put it. And of course, sometimes, you know, like I'm talking out loud as if we have like 7 newbie DMs that are like, and they're all just my anxieties, you know, but like, is the, you know, because I feel like sometimes people are concerned whenever, oh snap, like the giant rolled another critical, like here we go. And
it's emotional.
100%. And, you know, of course, sometimes simply like you can like fudge the damage die rolls, or like fudge the regular rolls, or like, you know, you are the DM for a reason, so control the story, or do what you feel needs to be done. But what I'm hearing from what you just said, especially with it being handled poorly, is either whenever it's kind of like a hand wave, you know, and like you're thrown under the trail tracks and the train tracks come and you're done, you know, or you die on these train tracks and we're moving on. And it's sort of like, oh shit, what just happened? Like, that was our cleric, you know, like, oh no. You know, yeah. I mean, like those moments, I have experienced peripheral versions of that. And it's very eloquently put by you, because sometimes the easiest way to sort of see growing points as a DM comes from whenever I'm a player. Or whenever a player that I love and trust is like, hey, just a heads up, like, and I feel like I've been talking way too much, but it applies to this. A dear friend of mine who plays in, I guess, my main kind of Tuesday home game, and it's really fun. We started with Dragon of Icespar Peak. It is now spun off into this kind of homebrewed saga, sort of loosely ripped from the Wizard of Earthsea by yours truly, but he had a situation, they're all level 13, so they're basically gods. But he had a situation where they're deep in the underground, and there was this room full of statues that were holding gems. But they weren't statues, they had been turned to stone. And basically there was another gem. There was go. He goes and picks it up. He fails his con save. And he's turned to stone. And I don't think he would mind me saying this. Like, he is a very equanimous, patient. He is a lawyer. He's a highly professional individual. Like, we're very good friends because we're kind of opposite. And his face, dude, he was just like, what the fuck? And then he was like, I mean, that's kind of bullshit. I'm just dead. And like, it was like I wanted to laugh and like console him at the same time, because like, you know, greater restoration exists. He is going to be okay. They weren't in combat, but it just goes to show.
Reversed. Yeah.
Exactly. It just goes to show. It made me realize, I'm like, you know what? Like, even if I know it's coming and I see it coming, the players don't. And when the rug gets pulled out in a MMORPG, or excuse me, a non-visual game, it can just be so hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that has to be, looking back, I wish that he had said, okay, we're going to take 5. I'm going to go talk to this person and we're going to handle this, because you've got to have aftercare, depending on the level of seasoning for a player. With their first death, you've got to have a 15-minute conversation about, these are your options. This is what's going to happen. This is how this happens. And and they can choose what happens next. They have to have some kind of agency, because that will break trust from a new player.
That's a great point.
They have to have some kind of agency to have a choice of something that's going to further their story, instead of like, oh, whoosh, right? I will never, ever, ever rip someone's sheet in half.
That's
never going to happen.
So aggressive. Oh my God. Yeah.
It is so petty. It is so ego driven. It is so.
It's very it's very violent and painful. You know,
it's violent and painful, and it's about a DM's ego, not about the game, not about the player, not about the thing. And I mean, do that for maybe a big boss. You all killed the big boss, really funded. You know, we can all ripping that up, but not a player, and not their first player death, right?
Like,
or even a one-shot death. I mean, you need a minute. You need a minute to figure out what's going to happen next, and then come back to the table, and then start again with.
Apologies, my OBS just like.
I am the breaker of binary things. They called me the binary ball breaker.
I love it. I'm like, I thought my system was set up, but it's not. Oh, Lisa, you're so great. You're like, listen, let me have me on. I will destroy your OBS setup.
Sorry.
Okay, let me ask you this, because that is such a great point. You do need to be thoughtful, especially when something jarring happens. And this feels like a segue into almost a discussion of like overarching gameplay in general, because like I feel that way about traps, where like I like traps. I think they're really cool. I think it's important. It's also part of me like trying to do like a resource drain on my players, right? Where I'm like, all right, motherfuckers, like you can't short rest every fucking time. Okay, you know what? There's a pit trap. But it feels a little, not necessarily cheap, but it feels comparatively more rewarding whenever I have them walk into the room and I'm like, okay, you see, you know, sweeping left to right, these huge circular, they look almost like, you know, threshers on a wheat mill, but they rotate around the room savagely. And so they know that there are these like circular threats that if they move into the space, it'll probably be a dex save or something along those lines. But even just giving them the option to walk into the trap versus springing them on it feels like higher level execution. But can you give me your thoughts on that? Like, you know, do you have the classic, like, make a dexterity save, you fall into the trap? Because those are cool too. I'm just curious how you handle it.
I think again, that comes to team building and trust building at your table, right? When you've got newbie players that don't know what that means, the stakes are going to be higher because, oh no, oh my God, now what? Oh no, right? But if you have players that have been playing for a little while, they know that they trust you, the DM, I used to play with a very, very death-heavy DM.
That sounds awful.
The master. Well, not that you died, but he was the master of really threading the needle to the most deadly you could get, and then there were ways out and back home again, right? And I loved it. We've been playing with them for a while. He had the most amazing Northern Irish accent I have ever heard.
Wow.
I can't even. It was just. It was fantastic. It was fantastic, but we've been playing a while, so that trust is built. We all know the stakes are deadly. We know. We've been playing a while to know how big the stakes are and how careful we have to be. And he won't put things in our way just to be a jerk about it. This is part of what would happen in that dungeon, in that thing. When there are newer players and they don't know what those stakes are, and they haven't ridden through and come out safely enough to know what this is about, right? They don't have a lot of hours in the air with all this stuff.
In the air, yeah.
Right? You have to treat that differently. You have to give them things to trust. I've been at tables where it's deadly, but the most fun I've ever had. Died and came back. We killed the dragon, blah, yada, yada. And then I've had tables of like session 1 where it's psychological manipulation, and I had to walk from the table.
Damn.
Right? Like, not.
Oh,
and it was
my God.
Of the DM. I got an apology years later from other people going, yeah, I wish that hadn't gone down that way, which I'm very grateful for, but it took years. You know,
that's
don't ego trips with DMs. I've seen people go from very, very great DMs to monsters pretty quickly.
Damn, and like, let's talk about that. Like, what do you think happened? Like, do you think they just got too confident, or? I mean, we don't need a
narcissist, maybe like narcissistic things, or just ego trip. I also think that a lot of D&D early, and pointing the finger at myself too. It's a lot of self-insertion. It's a lot of working out issues. It's a lot of having agency where you didn't have as a kid. It's a lot of what this gameplay is for a lot of people, and it's valid.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely valid.
Yeah.
So part of that is having the emotional maturity as a DM to understand that and guide that, and you kind of have to navigate that or not, right? You have to be aware.
That's so true.
And I think bad DMs get on a power trip, and that's their own, it's from their own issues, and they kind of, I've seen somebody become from like a DM, I will always be at their table, to this is a manipulative monster, and
oh my God,
so
no.
And I can't be there anymore. Yeah, it's a bummer.
Oh,
it's a bummer.
Dude, that's awful. Like, I just didn't.
But I get to play with some really cool games coming up in January, and I'm just not streamed, just heroes I've wanted to play with for a while, so I'm extremely excited.
That's awesome.
And I really hope the stuff that I'm writing with the Be a Never Ending stuff and Anansi's Tapestry of Lives, those folks, I hope we get to roll some dice. Part of that Kickstarter,
man,
talked about having those NPCs stream in those voices, right? Do you know?
No, I didn't know that. Break that off. And how do I become one? Tapestry
of Lives from Be Never Ending Inc. is a huge Kickstarter. We funded in just under 3 hours.
Oh, that's sick.
Crashed over 100,000 right before the end of the whole Kickstarter campaign. And it was a really, really fun night. He was getting on a plane, and I was like ramping up the Twitter, like, we can do it. It was super fun.
He's like, I have to go. They're shutting the cabin doors.
Yeah, it was literally like that. I'm on a plane. Super fun. And we have about, I don't know how many now, 20 or more NPCs that each have their own monologue, their own voiceover monologue from the book. That's an app now. You can listen. So, I'm Greta, I'm Gertrude, and I might be something else. I don't know, but we may stream a D&D, hopefully a D&D game with these different voice actors who are going to be the NPCs from
let's go. Yeah. God, I wish I'd gotten in on that. My greatest dream is to sort of play sort of like a very, almost like a whispering Guy Pearce, sort of like a low, like almost like a divination wizard that essentially comes in just to like either kill or be killed, dog. It's the fourth act of Othello. I mean, you can treat me however you want, but like the idea of having NPCs that are voice actors that you can just plug in.
We have that.
So sick. That's
you can
so
like a cameo if you want these characters from Anansi's to voice something for your game. I believe that's becoming possible.
Damn, that's so good.
A friend of mine's game has an old NPC of mine, an old player character of mine that's now an NPC, and she's a successful baker and a wizard and a thing, and I might send some messages.
To bring them back into the mix. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're an incredible creative. You're a super experienced voiceover artist. You love D&D. I'm curious. Like, has there ever been... This is so bizarre. But, like, I feel like we're so close to there being a market for people needing a D&D coach.
Yeah.
And I feel like you would crush that. I mean, because you're so good with dialects, but you also, in a technical proficiency sense... Like, I loved how on your website you have a breakdown of your studio build out, of your equipment and the dimensions. Like, I feel like that's obviously more professional and commercial voiceover, but has that something like people have ever approached you about?
Yeah, I've done it.
Amazing. Because I know you write for APs and produce them. It feels like you could almost like be like a acting coach for the actual players.
I do. I've actually coached DMs inside Skills Hub. Skills Hub is an amazing, very highly curated and vetted collection of voiceover coaches for voice actors. And
that is so good.
Someone has come to me, and I've coached them there, and I've coached just through Zoom as well. I've coached DMs and players wanting to get better at their game, and that's been amazing fun. I would love it. I would love it so much. And graphics and stuff. Like we were talking about sound and stuff before we went live. Graphics and sound is make it or break it for your podcast, for your stream, for your things. I keep seeing a rash of folks. I love that they're creating, but they don't have an eye for art direction. And I've worn that hat in a corporate setting. So let me help you build your graphics. Let me help you. I'm seeing like tons of negative space and little teeny picture faces. Like, who is that? Who is it? Who's on your show? Or just so much text on graphics that you just can't read it. And your eye goes, I'm glazing over. Yeah. I'm not going to see anything now. Right. And knowing how that gets built to the most effective way. I coach social media marketing, and I'm a consultant for graphics and websites and builds. I just built a website for certain voice actors of mine and stuntmen that I know. They're out there. So, yeah. That's
so badass. Because like
Yeah,
I mean, I can just see that, and we'll drop your socials in at the end of this, but it's very apparently so. I mean, like obviously,
everyone wants to coach with me for DM coaching. Bring it, let's go.
Yeah, hit it, holla. Let's go, holla. But even more than that, like the marketing. I mean, I feel like you have a great understanding of, because there's like so many different ways to present something, but there's also then a way to present it while also presenting it in the style of the thing that you are presenting, if that makes sense.
Yes, right? Without still understanding art design, still understanding guiding your eyes, still understanding visual cohesion of your product, of your brand, of your thing. Yeah, it's important. Helping people get the information instead of just like scattershotting the info, and because it's all there. Like I want them. Like, you get so excited about giving people information when it's like, let's take these pieces away and make this cohesive, so you really get. Yeah, and that's also I love book designers, Lauren Ipsum and those folks who are just bookmancers, who just have this gorgeous eye of book layout. No one does it better than her.
The bookmancer is a beautiful.
It guides your eye around the page like a great story should.
That's so true. They talk about white space in screenplay writing, like how much, like sort of like what the flow is, right? And it's something I've been cognizant of just in incorporating in my work past couple of years and whatnot. But I think I mentioned to you, like, a lot of my side gig is tutoring, which is great, and like honestly, I find it really uplifting to like see a kid or an adult, but like get that confidence, learn it, and it really is satisfying. You're like, oh, dude, like, great, and then you see them feel good. But I basically have just been teaching a kid in screenwriting, and really, really, like, a great kid, super creative, super, just strong theater of the mind, strong internal imagery and desire. And that's just been one thing that I've been trying to point out to him, is his focus is often really only on dialogue or on a little bit of scene action, and really trying to break it down where, like, it's almost like there's a medium in the middle where the reader of the script, right, of the screenplay, or in our world, maybe the person watching our slate on our audition tape or listening to it or whatever the fuck, if you can communicate your energy, your opinion, your vibe in the interstitials, then you're kind of like winning, and you're almost doing 2 or 3 times as much work in one. So that's kind of like, that's something I've seen, Pat, and valuable to some of these students as well.
Yeah. It's, and they'll lean into what they do well, and then they'll try to fudge around what they don't do well.
100%.
Right?
You've seen it. You've seen my work. I see. Yes.
Well, I catch people doing it all the time. I catch people, like, they'll mush words together when they don't really understand that line of copy. They'll mush those words together to get back to the next thing that they really like to say. Dude. And it's just little, I can just go like, right? With love and with fun, I will call them out on it, with support, because they, for the most part, they don't need to shy away from that stuff. Yeah. They have more talent than they think. They just don't understand it yet. They don't know how it goes, right? And I love being able to support that. So they go, oh, and then they get it, and then it's a better cohesion.
Got you. No, that's completely accurate. I do that with dialects sometimes, but I just recently was working, right, exactly, and where I'm like, and just muddy through it. But I recently, I have a call back tomorrow, and was working it, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, why is that line hard for me? And I was thinking about, I'm like, is it because I don't like it? Because sometimes I'm like, that doesn't feel truthful to me. But then I realized, I was like, no, it's just because I just hadn't wrapped my head around it. Hadn't really understood why it was in the script. Hadn't understood why my character was saying it. And so, like, yes. I mean, not that you need me to co-sign it, but, like, you're absolutely right. Like, that happened to me this morning, We all have it. We all have it in different mediums, different genres, different things. We'll have that thing. And we have a consideration on it, or we don't understand it. We don't know where our feet go on it. And, we'll put around it and get on to the thing that I love to chew on. Yeah. So that's so great. So I can see that. I mean, it's so apparent why you're a great coach. But with copy, you could slow it down. You can ask them to break it apart. And this is just because my wheels are turning. Like, we have barely touched. I just feel bad because there's so many D&D. It doesn't really matter. We'll have you on another time if we need to. It doesn't matter. But if you were in a situation, Lisa, where, like, say someone came to you and they're like, you know what, like, I really enjoy writing. I like writing a lot. I've come to love D&D. It's a great outlet. I feel comfortable with my table. But if they are essentially like, you know what, I'm not super extroverted, and I'm not great with voices or with dialects, but I want to get better at role play. Like, what would be, and not that you need to, like, fix the wheel, but what would be a handful of things you would suggest that could be, fun tips to get someone more comfortable doing that as a DM, or things that you found valuable? I'm more just kind of curious.
I have seen it to be accurate that when people are introverted, there is a judgment. There's a fear of agency and a judgment and other things. Like, this is advanced acting class, so I'm not going to go into things because then I'll get Lisa said, and I'll look forward to your letter. But there's a thing with introverts that that there are considerations there, right? Which can have a chip or a thing or a faulty idea of something. It isn't like not quite the right information or something. So I want people to. The answer is improv. The answer is improv.
Yeah.
Improv. Little, and it can be like really light gradient, but getting them to step their feet into something that is a wild card, and they have to think on their feet and think it up as they go, and really gives them a nice, especially on a light gradient, gives them a nice foundation of, I can do this. Oh, it only has to be that. Oh, I can do that. I can do that much. Instead of thinking they have to be this one-man band of things.
Yeah.
Right? So introverts, I give little what ifs, little teeny improv-y bits, right? And then back off that a little bit, give them a little, make them, and see how they reach, see how they. We're getting advanced here, but
no. I track on all of that. Like that's super duper. I mean,
I'm thinking about your audience, not you. I'm thinking about
copy.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But and I don't want to confuse anyone either that's watching or listening. So
no, you're good.
But there's introverts can be a more of an onion than you think, and it's fascinating and it's cool. I'm not invalidating it at all. I'm just saying there's a bigger lens to look for that stuff.
Got you. No, as opposed to just introverted or extroverted, like just good at this or good at that. Yeah. No, 1,000%.
It can be fascinating.
And and it's obviously easy for like us. I mean, you have a skill set that leans into it. You have 10,000 hours doing it. Okay. Well, in terms of the games that you do run and have run, it sounds like a lot of the most rewarding stuff and the most fun stuff has been, your own kind of campaigns, like stuff you've written and your own kind of homebrew. I'm more curious just because I always like asking, like, have you run adventure books? Have you found it to just not be your thing? Never. I love it. That's kind of why I asked. I thought it was going to be no. That's spicy. That's crazy.
Because I haven't read through one enough to do it.
Gotcha.
Right? I would love to go through like the origins or a whole module of Dusk Elves.
Ooh.
All Dusk Elves all the time.
Wow.
Find out more about that side.
Does one exist? I've never heard of it.
Dusk Elves are from Strahd. They're from.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow. Okay, so maybe that's so good. I'm like, But
then are there more? Are there Dawn Elves?
Yeah.
How many more are there? What do we got? What's in there?
Yeah. Crank it up. That's so rowdy. So you've never run one. It's all been home.
I've never run. I've never run through one. I want to. I would love to.
Sure.
I would home brew the stuff out of that. I mean, when I got into Blades in the Dark, it was like there's all of this, and then I really leaned into the whispers and the piercing the veil and getting through all the ghosty stuff. I didn't. Gangs are cool. Gangs and heists, that's cool. That's fun. But the ghost stuff, give me all this food stuff.
You know why we're here, and it's the fucking ghoulies. Yeah, that's so good. Spooky, fantastical, and magical and powerful, as opposed to zombie, gory, ugly things, right? Yeah, horror, right?
Yeah, spooky, not horror.
Yeah.
I would love to run, and I've also in my server there are channels. You can go to Tal'Dorei, you can go to Exandria, you can go to different places and cities outside of my world that my city I built inside Faerun.
That's so cool.
There's a spot on the map in Faerun where I chose to put that city.
That's so sick. And so within this Discord, there are, and we're kind of just talking about in general, like, I mean, Lisa is a bit of an albatross in the sense that she has proficiency and toast and get up to speed. But in so many different aspects of it. So like, this might not be a one-to-one, comparison for where you are at as a DM, and that's totally fine. But but in some of these situations, Lisa, it sounds like, I mean, like what sends you off? Like, do you start with the end in mind? Is there like one villain, like, is there one moment? I'm just curious because there's, whenever you talk about building cities and that's so big scale, I'm just curious, like some of the homebrews campaigns you've completed, like how much did you start out with,
How did I start? I started out with a concept. I started out with a piece of snapshot prose. And people were like, "Ooh, that's cool. Build on that." And I was like, "Okay."
Should I?
And should I? And okay. So I built it out, and I was like, "What would that be? What would that do?" And then I kind of brain tennis with some people. It's like, "Oh, that's smart." And then it was like, "Well, why are they going there? How do they get there? Who's calling them there, and for what? What's okay? That's there, but what's really there? What's really there? Okay, why is that really there?" It's not just because one big bad guy is doing something bad. It's because there's one big bad guy driving this nefarious purpose, but there are also people caught in the middle that have some there's some diversity, inclusion stuff where they're gray areas. They might be dealing with this big bad guy, but because it's where they're tolerated, it's where they're accepted, it's where they can live in peace from other things over here that may not be so good.
Gotcha.
So that definitely happens. So it's all the wheres and the whys, and you kind of come to each one of these differently, right? It's like songwriting. Well, if I don't write songs yet, I think I've written lyrics, but not music. That's literary geometry. I don't understand it
intense.
yet.
Yeah, I get that.
And I admire the hell out of it. But you come at things in different ways. It can be an idea for a big scopy city. It can be just one photograph of a candle in the window on a rainy night, and then what's in the distance? What's behind it? What's behind that point of view? So it's always different.
Who's within this? That's interesting. So what I'm hearing is like highly, highly evocative, like either snippets of imagery or prose, and that's so fucking cool. Like that's awesome. I mean, that's like a modern. I mean, that's I imagine
people remember that,
Yeah.
And then characters do that too. In one of my game, the big 10-person game, shout out to Gil.
Yo, get in here, Gilly.
A funny moment happened, and he ran. Well, first a tense moment happened, and then another tense moment happened. And when you have great storytellers or quick minds at the table, he turned a hiding place and grabbing clothes into something fantastically vaudevillian funny. And it really was the perfect turn right at the moment we needed it to make it, and now we all remember that moment.
Yeah.
Or horrible failing throws that made the worst possible scenario happen, but it's so awful that it's funny, and
it's just impossible.
But it's just the worst. Yeah. I love giving odd things too. Even getting to this location in this game, they had to roll Constitution throws because they riding in that wagon so long. Are they going to get seasick?
Right.
Is it muddy roads? Are they going to, Yeah, and then they're going to have to deal with that if they do. If they fail that stuff, it's just one more fun little, if they're up for it. New players, I don't know if I would do that so much if they weren't guided by other older players and like, it's going to be okay. Don't freak out.
Yeah. I mean, 100%, especially whenever you're just.
Oh God, I hope.
No,
I did.
you did. You nailed it. I mean, there's like a good answer. Then it results with like two other questions. I'm like, oh well, I didn't think about that. It is tough. Do you play with a lot of new players, like first time players?
No, that's No, we did, although that 10-person game had a couple brand new players and some really seasoned players. And those new players, I love how they drafted up. They looked, they watched, they had good help at the table, and they absolutely held their own.
Damn.
And I think that's also because of the good guidance of other good players at the table.
Yeah, no, to have a smattering is really, really fun. Like that feeling of having a new couple players at a table is so electric to me, because they're like, I chopped the tree down, you know, like there's like always just some weird shit. They're like, I set the barn on fire. It's like, okay, fuck, you know,
here we go.
Like it
sure?
And I think it motivates the old players too, because as long as they're cool, then there's a part of them that's like appreciative of the spirit of youth, you know, kind of coming
and what they
through.
don't know they can't do, and they just have this imagination that rolls, is delicious.
Exactly. And
delicious.
That charges everybody up at the table, I feel like, in a massive way. Have you ever, and this is just because I two questions. Have you ever wanted to, or will you? I mean, I know you produced and participated in like maybe literal dozens, but are you, with this Kickstarter, like, are you moving towards an actual play yourself? Like DMing one, I guess, because I know you've produced tons. Yeah. Because I know you've produced and played and written them. I'm just, and not to put pressure on you, I'm just curious.
On someone else's stream, I would do that if I had enough hours under my belt to know how that I could navigate combat and things. And navigate a table. I don't want to feel like I've just had good luck with great players, right? So I want to know that I have the savvy to host a table, because you're not just DMing, right? It's all teamwork, but you're also really hosting as things go wrong and guiding players when they need it. And I think that would be fun. I'd love to work up to that. I will say yes, abso-freaking-lutely. But I would like to gain the savvy of people like Bria, and I love the emotional intelligence and the unbelievable savvy that she's got, where it's not just DMing the table, it's the sass that she gives and the unbelievably savvy way that she will give a remark off the cuff and call something out in this loving, sassy way. But there's just this emotional intelligence there that I love it so much. I'm so inspired by it, and I aspire to have that kind of, what's the word? Stewardship. She's an amazing host.
That's a great word.
Table, and this really fantastic leader, not just of the game, but of the consequences and of the turns that happen. And she can make really fun commentary about it and then lead them all right back in to what's happening. It's a beautiful thing to watch. And then, you know, the storytelling and the gripping presence of being immersed in the story that Mercer has. Those are things that I aspire to. But really, let me just get through some more games and know the combat first.
Hey, zero pressure. Already I'm like, shit, I got the channel. No, like you should do whatever the hell you want, Legend, is what you should do. But you would crush. You would absolutely crush. And
I'm dying.
And it speaks to you as an artist, but it speaks to you as someone that clearly cares about the products that they put out. That, like, you want to feel 100%. You know, like the only time I've streamed actual plays, it's been a one-on-one. And that's largely because I mean, I feel very proficient with the stewardship in the execution and the story, but the technical aspect, I didn't want to go from streaming live with one other person to streaming with like 5 other people. You know what I mean? So
it's not just that it's a lot, it's undoable for just you. You have to have a producer. I've seen Michaela Sims and those people really, I've been, you know, after the game watching her teach someone a deck and how that goes. And it's so technical. There's so much to learn. If you have more than one other person, even 2 people, I've seen Grammy winners in podcasts and the sound's going bad because there wasn't another person there as a producer to make sure all that was good, and you have to have it. I never, that really locked in for me, seeing a friend's podcast and then seeing Michaela teach after a game, teach somebody else how they were going to set up their stream, and I was like,
that's rad.
Over my head. I do not get it. I definitely will appreciate the wizards who do it.
Yeah, that's super
so
fucking
much.
cool.
And you are really great at you ran through checklists before we went live. It was so great to see. And so like I'm in good hands. He knows exactly what he's doing.
That's sweet of you, Lisa. Thank you so much. I mean, as you know, in voiceover, like your equipment and your setup is everything. And so I mean, I appreciate it. I mean, I want the audience to enjoy themselves and be able to take it in, but I also want the other guest to come on and feel like their time was valued. Like I didn't take your quality microphone setup and then turn it into garbage. Like you want to be able to sort of keep the ball in the air in terms of quality, right? So yeah, I appreciate that. And I mean, for what it's worth, I mean, not that I am like a huge OBS resource, but in terms of editing or anything, I mean, I think you provide an incredible creative angle to D&D, which in my mind kind of is its own art form. So I would just love to, like, anything I can do to support you creating more D&D stuff, I would love to participate in. I guess is all I'm trying to say.
Well, more is coming.
Let's go. That is auspicious.
NDA.
Yeah. Okay.
And more stuff would be never ending as well. More. It's so exciting to be writing again. It's so exciting to be writing RPG stuff and NPCs and environments, and it really, really fulfills my little nerd soul.
Dude, that's so cool.
Does.
That's so cool.
Does.
Is it? Well, you know what? We probably can't even talk about it. Well, let me see if I can ask you. Maybe you can answer it. Is what you're excited about right now? Does it exist in Faerun? Or is it third party? Okay, cool. As soon as I asked that, I felt like I was like Charlie Rose.
Not a hint. I really cannot tell you. I cannot tell you.
Cool. All good. Listen. Hey. Now, do I want to know even more?
Really cool. But it's really, really cool. And then all of the stuff for Be Never Ending, the NPCs, it can go anywhere.
That's amazing.
You can drop those pieces into anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like some of the stuff I've written, everything that I've written, all the little modules, adventures and things I've written, the little things, whatever you want to call them.
I'm so sorry. I just had, I have no idea what's going on. Let me just show you what just happened.
I could have been going, hey, Google, this whole time and messing with you. What's playing?
Yeah, I don't know what this is. Is it Avatar? It's Iron Man. What the
I don't know.
What's going on? This is
I
unbelievable.
break binary things. I break by. See?
You're good, oh my
God. Don't. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I break binary things.
Lisa, what have you done to my
success rate,
dude?
For me.
Look at.
I do.
It's just. I hear Google talking to me, and then some heavily pixelated man is flying through the air. We done here. Okay. So Lisa, I can't let you out. I cannot let you leave without doing a little something that we call the rapid fire.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, if it is your first time here, then you might not know what the rapid fire is. It probably sounds aggressive. Probably sounds very fast paced.
Bring it.
And it is. So I can tell that you're prepared. I can tell that you're ready to roll. So without much further ado, we are going to dive into the rapid fire. It basically, Lisa, is like a series of binary, yes or no questions, right? Like red, blue, this, that, the other. So with no further ado, here we fucking go.
Yeah.
With the rapid fire. Do you prefer giants or dragons?
Dragons.
Dungeons or dragons?
Dungeons.
Okay.
Red dragon or gold dragon coming to defend your life? Which one?
Red or what?
Red or gold?
Gold.
Gold?
All day.
Boom. There we go. Going with the mystical, the divine. Okay, if you had to pick one die to have with you for the rest of time, are you taking the D100 or a D12?
How dare you not offer me a D20?
I know.
200.
I know. D100, let's go. Okay, she's taking 2 with her. I love it. Okay, if you could only make one more character for the rest of time, is it a spellcaster or a melee?
Ranged.
Ranged? Let's go.
Caster all day. I'll let the melee players who do that well have that territory. I don't do it well. I will give it all to them.
I love that. You're like, I will be minimum 90 feet away.
Brother Wendy, I will keep you alive from way back here.
And then I'm chunking deuces. I respect
cookie.
that. Listen, that is a sign of intelligence. Okay, elf or dwarf?
Elf.
Gnome or halfling?
Halfling.
Ooh, I like it. Tabaxi or tiefling? I know. You have to pick one of the sexy races.
Tabeefling.
Tiefling? Cool.
Tabeefling. I said tabeefling.
That is stricken.
That's some chocolate and strawberry. I will say swirl every time.
I love it.
Tabaxi?
They're like, miss, we only have...
Teef Baxi? Yes, Teef Baxi.
Hey, I gotta press you. Which one is it? Tabaxi or tiefling?
Teef Baxi. I am done. It's final answer.
Okay, I gotta respect it. That's what it is. That's what it's gotta be.
Next character.
Yeah, I love that. It's like, whoa. It's like, well, my mom was a tabaxi and my mother was also a tiefling. This is the only trick question on here. Yeah, exactly. This is the only trick question, Lisa.
I've been to cat school. What?
Turtle or turtle? And heads up, we stand turtles on this show.
Portal.
Thank you. That was the correct answer. I appreciated that. Okay, these are more the wizarding, the moving, the kind of cantrips. You taking guidance or mage hand?
Ooh, that's tough.
I know.
Guidance.
Guidance? Okay, why are you taking guidance?
For a split second, I thought would help more people.
You know what? That is like the sweetest answer in the world, and I think it would. I think it would. This is a tabeefling that is clearly altruistic. I really respect that. Okay. Also staying with the cantrips. You taking mending or spare the dying?
Spare the dying.
Wow, I like that. Oh. You clearly have some courtesy for other people. Stick around. Okay, fireball or lightning bolt? Classic offensive
Lightning
spells.
bolt.
Lightning bolt, I love it. And is that
For
because
the flavor.
For the flavor? Okay, you just want that crackle in the pop.
Yes.
Let's go.
And
yeah,
a little specific.
It is.
Yeah. Especially, fuck this guy, especially right here.
Yeah, exactly. Yo, dude, you are 100 feet away, and I got you. Okay.
How good except this guy.
That is so good. He looks back like, me?
What?
Okay, are you taking produce flame or firebolt?
Firebolt.
Firebolt, love it. Hunter's mark or hex?
Hex. Ooh.
I know, it's tough.
Hunter's
mark?
Yeah.
Heard it here.
Keep an eye on that guy, yeah.
Right? Exactly, to track them after the fact. I love that too. So flavorful and cool. Okay, if you're starting a new campaign tomorrow, would you rather start the campaign in a prison or in a brothel? Don't at me. Brothel?
Brothel.
Oh, let's fucking go. Respect.
Didn't say it was still operating, but I want the comfort.
I want running water.
Facts of a broth. Yes.
That is
Press
so
for
good.
champagne. Thank you very much.
You're like, now, is it haunted? Is it haunted? Yes.
Hell yes.
Oh my god, that is so good. Okay, you prefer wizard or sorcerer?
Ooh, wizard.
Wizard, sick. Any particular reason?
You got your own magic. You did it. You did it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You have trained, you now have it inside your wits. Okay, completely agree. Okay, are you going cleric or paladin?
Cleric.
Cleric, love it. Yeah, I see that you have some cleric love, which is awesome. Druid or ranger?
Druid.
Druid, I love it.
All day.
Druid's low-key my favorite class.
I'm a big druid a Cluid. I love that she's the druid cleric.
Holy fuck, that's awesome. I've never heard of that ever. Seriously.
Show you how it goes.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing. Yeah, once some really jerky guys showed me this amazingness, I was like,
Doing it.
I'm home. Yeah, shepherd, druid.
Dude,
yeah.
and both lean into wisdom. And yeah, shepherd druid is so nice. That's
There's
awesome.
a couple levels in cleric. You are Mother Wendy here.
That is really rad. Yeah, that's really
love it.
rad. You get
I've
divine
always been a
intervention.
healer. In every RPG, Dragon Realms, I was an empath. Yeah,
That is so interesting and so sweet. And that, I feel like, makes me trust you as a DM enormously. I'm like, okay, I'll put myself into your hands. That's fine. Okay, last question, Lisa, of the rapid fire. Okay, this is the do or die. This is the gotta fucking have it. Yes or no? Should cats have dark vision?
Yes.
Agreed. Why the fuck don't they? What's going on?
Why?
What
They
the fuck?
already do. Like what?
Yeah, like IRL they do, but apparently in the monster manual they do not.
That is estupido.
It is, how do you say?
How do you say estupido?
It's very stupid.
That doesn't make any. They already have dark vision. Cats have dark.
My guy,
cats-
have you ever seen a cat? Is sort of my
Google.
question.
Yeah. Have you ever met a cat?
Have you ever hung out
They
with
know.
a cat? Oh my gosh, Fuzka! What's up, legend? Get in here.
Fuzka?
Do you know Fuz?
No.
Fuzka
I'm just saying hi.
is awesome. Okay, Fuzka, this is Lisa. She is amazing as well. Super talented DM, voiceover artist, producer, actor. I love Fuz. She was on a couple weeks ago. Super talented actual play DM. She runs her own Twitch channel with some friends and family. It's rad.
Props. Whoever's running their own Twitch channel, I just
Exactly.
And
Like,
I run my own Clubhouse, and that's different, but that's a lot less buttons.
but I mean, same thing as like running a Discord. Like, there's so much formatting and oversight and thoughtfulness, and like, it's kind of like the job never stops. It's sort of always there to some degree. But Fuz, listen, if you're late, you're right on time in my book, girl. Come on. But we are unfortunately kind of wrapping up. I mean, Lisa,
I have a question for you.
please. Yeah, please.
We can both answer this. If you one D&D thing you would want to like create to put in the game, like one thing or utility, or even like you wish the D&D had this to put this in the game.
That's so interesting. I wish there was a stronger metric for some version of reputation. Because now is that like my
You mean like factions or just honor?
like both like
I kind of
you
like
know,
that better than and or alignment. I dig that.
because like one can influence the other, but like I guess the examples I'm thinking of are, it's been fun for me to give the party in the bigger campaign or the longer retching campaign more clout, more reason for like the innkeeper to like just toss them a free beer. You know what I mean? And that same cleric that got turned to stone that was like, dude, this is kind of fucking bullshit. He truly is like one of my dearest friends, but he's straight up like, he's so good at it. But his backstory was that he came from like, he was a noble background. His family was really well off, but he had this sort of falling out. And we worked in this mechanic where each time he met someone, he rolled a d20, and on a prime number, which basically was like 25%, they had heard something negative about him. And it was just fun. And now
That's delicious.
he's like turned it around. Now some of the numbers, if they're prime, they've heard good things about him. And that's something that I feel like it just, it promotes your actions having consequences, which is cool for me,
That's consequences are so good.
right? But if you could add one thing, what would it be? Because that's a great question. Like, I'm curious.
In my Discord server there is, and I wish they would update it, because I guess it's not updated now, and it's not a thing, and I don't know where it's from. But I have this interactive map of Faerun from before some big historic thing happened, and you can click on each city, and it'll tell you the stats of the city,
Oh, that's
what
dope.
they're mining, what their
That's dope.
trade, population, religion, all these stats for the city. It's and a little synopsis of the town. It's so dope. I don't know how to code or make those things. If I could, all dang day. For every one of these modules, for every one of these books, it's the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing. And besides all the AR stuff, I think, but that interactive, clickable, click-aroundable map, you can zoom in,
That's so rad. Yeah, I've seen an interactive map of, I think, Neverwinter. I'm going to let my dog out before he winds himself into the ground. Hang on.
What's your dog's name?
There you go, puppy.
Taking care of the dog is the most important thing. This is true.
I thought I was getting a dog. I actually just purchased the fictional character Goldilocks. It was a very, very interesting. Or I guess I didn't purchase, but geez Louise. He's giving me the rigmarole. Thank you for your patience on that. I've had to walk away about a million times.
Dogs are important. It is the most important thing.
It's like no one. I don't know if anyone. I don't think my mic is picking up the like sounds of what seems like a sparrow being tortured.
No, I'm not getting it.
But I sure am. I'm just like,
I'm not getting it.
Yeah. You're like, I don't hear it. No, man, that's such a great beat. Okay, so Lisa, like, how do we stay in touch? Like, what's the best way, like, to support you to kind of come through? Food's good. That's hilarious. I didn't know that.
I'm at Lisa Bell on Twitter.
Cool.
Because I was silly when I made it. L-I-I. There are 2 I's. It is how I spell my name. It is not a typo.
Boom.
L-I-I-S-A-B-E-L-L-E. You can find me at Lisa Lee on everything else. Facebook, Instagram. We even talked about food photography. And then what else? Look for all the updates for Anansi's Tapestry of Lives, which is super, super fun. I don't know what any other promo is going to be for the other things that I'm doing. But get a hold of me there, and you can find my link tree and all my social media. LisaLeeVO.com is my website.
Your link tree is excellent. Excuse me.
Thank you.
Truly, I was
all
like,
that stuff. Book me for some sessions. My Calendly's in there.
I think I'm going to. I mean, like, I would love to have well, I mean, obviously, like, you out there, you book her as well. I mean, you're gonna have to beat me to it. Good luck. But and
all through Christmas, you'll get 15 more minutes from whatever you book.
That's rad. Okay, so up through like Christmas the day. Mm-hmm. Cool. I'll be planning on booking on Christmas Day, Lisa. So go ahead and circle that up.
I'm there. I can coach you in my slippers with cookies and a toddy. Let's go.
It's just me like singing. It's just me
story building on Christmas. It should be.
Exactly.
What's the Scandinavian the night before Christmas? Everyone gets a book.
Is it?
Joka Boka Blood? I'm saying it wrong. I know. I look forward to your letters. I'm so sorry. But there's a fantastic word.
You get a book. That's so good.
Yeah, they exchange books the night before Christmas or Yule.
That's hilarious. In my family, we traditionally exchange arguments. So maybe we will switch it up. Maybe we'll switch it up. And we will.
Everyone too. It's Hanukkah right now.
Yeah, exactly. Still is.
Yeah.
Oh man,
there are a ton of religions in my family. I'm a pretty fantastic patchwork in our family of all the things.
I mean, I don't want to speak to your experience, but that from where I'm sitting is super cool. That's dope to have your toe.
Non-practicing, they're around.
Sure. Yeah. No, 100%. I'm Italian non-practicing, so I completely understand like at least the ability where I'm like, listen, I have it in my blood. I'm gonna choose to set it down. I'm gonna set it down here.
Right.
Oh my gosh, guys, thank you so much. Lisa is a legend. I truly enjoy following her on Twitter so much. Your stuff is really great. If you're on Instagram, maybe it's just how my mind works. I love your Insta even more. That's like no bullshit. I love how direct you are. I feel like it's super helpful. Anyone that is even not a voiceover artist, but is just looking to up their technique, their technical proficiency, or get their space, their home studio, into a better situation, Lisa's a perfect person to reach out to for that. Yo, Sage, my boy.
And your graphics.
Yes, I forgot to do social media design as well. Yes.
It's a one-stop shop, if you will. Sage, I love you. My Stream Elements is fucked up, so I couldn't see your chat scrolling. But both you...
Yeah, my Twitch is messed up. It's weird.
I don't know what the fuck's up with that. I don't know why that happened. Yeah, dude, you came in right on time. Sage is another super talented digital hug. Super talented actual play DM. He's actually from South London. You would love his accent. But guys, before I get out of here, I traditionally do like to end my streams by raiding someone else that does Dungeons and Dragons. It's sort of random. Exactly. Raid. It's definitely very random, but it is a fun way to like uplift some kind of, somebody we don't know, somebody that maybe doesn't have a ton of viewers. So I'm going to go ahead and hop in on, I'm torn between Late Night Lex with an 8. That sounds cool. Although late night, are we going to be in a hot tub? I don't know.
Why do we to the top of our heads? That's so weird. I don't know
why it's on Twitch. Also, Fuzka alerted me that there's a lot of hot tub content.
Who's playing? Is anyone playing Evil West?
I don't know. That's a great thought. Let's see.
Because you can hear me.
Ooh. Okay.
Both the female agents and Martha, or is it Anna now? Did they change her name? The letter's home. The letter's about being saved.
Dude, let's go ahead and pop in on Atomic Shakespeare. No viewers. But they are playing Evil West. Guys, if you can...
They're gonna bring somebody out.
I know, exactly. They're like, are you stalking me? A little bit. Tell them Carpe sent ya. Truly, I love you guys. Sage, Fuzka, Emily, everyone that came through for the first time, people I didn't get to meet. Yeah.
Cypher of Tears streaming. Brian Foster streaming and playing Evil West.
Well, he's a huge streamer. He's not going to see us. I want to support someone that has nobody. That's
true. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because they'll look over, they'll be like, "Oh, what the fuck?" But Lisa, thank you so much. Like, this will not be the last time we're hanging out. And
no, we're gonna roll some dice at some point.
That's okay. Exactly. Good. Dice will be rolled, guys. I love y'all. I'm streaming on Friday. I'm trying to think. I'm sure I forgot something, but this has been rowdy. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Lisa, anything before we get out of here?
Go to my Calendly. Book some sessions.
Book some fucking
Club as well. LisaLevio.com. TruthLoveAndCakeBatter.com.
Ooh.
Champagneandpajamas.com is my writing.
You have so many great domains.
Thank you. I love naming things. It's the RPG nerd in me. I can't help it.
Guys, you will not be disappointed by clicking through Lisa's link tree and spending a casual minute or 5 just sort of getting lost. Okay, we're going to raid this person with 0 viewers. Tell them Carpe sent you. I love you. And have
a great night. Happy holidays, folks. Go be chaotically kind.
I love that. Chaotically